In this video, I'm going to discuss the reality that we're currently in a class war, and it's an economic one. But before I do, welcome to the quietest ones in the room with your host, Trey. I gotta say it, just the mere fact that you have clicked onto this video and you are listening to the sound of my voice, you by far are the most intelligent people on the face of the planet. So once again, thank you for joining me. From the East Coast to the West Coast in the United States of America, all over the media, we're seeing footage of protests and riots. And I want to break all this down from my perspective and what it all means economically, what it's meant economically. We're constantly told our problems are about race, immigration, or politics. But that's just a distraction. The truth is, we're in the middle of a class war, and it's been quietly going on for decades. And it's not just some conspiracy. It's a business strategy from the wealthy that has backfired, and now the average American is paying the price. And what's really happening is, it's not left versus right. It's top versus bottom. The working class, middle class, and the immigrants who have come here and are largely impoverished are being pitted against each other. Meanwhile, the wealth class, the top 1%, continues to gain power, assets, and influence. So the real conflict is between the capital-owning elites and the labor force keeping the economy running. You see, cheap labor has always been the goal. For decades, corporations and policymakers encouraged immigration, but not necessarily out of compassion. It was about economics. Now, one has to say to themselves, why? Well, more workers equals cheaper wages. It weakens labor unions and worker leverage. See, globalization, which was forced and pushed for so long, outsourced jobs abroad. And immigration added pressure domestically. And so the results of this have been more profits at the top, more pressure at the bottom. And we all feel it. We all know that the middle class and the working class wages and spending power has been squeezed almost to its end at this point. See, there was a little lifeline during the pandemic with quantitative easing and the reduction of interest rates. But now we're past that. And with everyone seeing how expensive it is to live here and resorting to things like credit cards and buy now, pay later, people are feeling the squeeze. And if there's anything that makes people more upset than anything else, it's the fact of not having enough money to make ends meet, to feed yourself and your family. The middle class and the working class are obviously squeezed. Wages haven't kept up with inflation. Home ownership is out of reach for so many people. The cost of living has skyrocketed. I mean, healthcare, education, rent. It's amazing the price increases we've seen. Meanwhile, the stock market and asset prices are skyrocketing, benefiting the top 10% who own most of the capital. See, many people don't know that at least 75% of Americans aren't even involved in the capital market space. See, the people who play by the rules are being pushed out of the game. So these riots we're seeing from LA to Boston, and I don't think these are going to be the last that we see, especially as we're going into the summer. It's reminiscent of past LA riots that were triggered by racial injustice, but there was a deeper reality that came out during those riots, and it was economic frustration, and we're seeing it all over again. Just this year in California, we saw the response of many of the leaders in California as it pertained to the wildfires, and it was abysmal. I saw Gavin Newsom start a podcast. I saw the mayor taking trips. So I don't have to stay on that for long, but we feel it, we know it, we see exactly what's going on, and it's up. See, the wealthy have been bailed out for decades. And so if we want to just talk numbers, there was 2008, $700 billion in bailouts for Wall Street and banks. In 2020, major corporations received loans, many forgiven. Over time, businesses and the wealthy have taken advantage of tax loopholes, capital gains, tax breaks, stock buybacks. And what did people get? The average American? The most recent thing we can remember as average Americans are stimulus checks from the first Trump administration. But we also got rising debt, stagnant wages, and housing crisis over the last several decades. No long-term structural support. And so I have a solution here, and I've been talking about it for some time on this channel, and it's that the average American, the middle class and the working class, the poor, need a bailout. If this economy and the leaders in this economy can bail out billionaires, why can't they bail out people who actually keep the economy running? And that is why I have been on Jerome Powell's head. Lower the interest rates. I know it's a temporary solution, but do that, and then we can talk about the other things, which I want to talk about now, which are, as I stated, the bailouts, and we know that the wealthy need to be taxed. And listen, this isn't some type of punishment. It's just economics. Why is it that in every situation where there's turmoil and disaster, it's clear, oh, let's give money to the wealthy as an economic solution, but not the average everyday American who's holding this country up? So give a bailout, and also tax the ultra wealthy, not out of revenge, but out of necessity. It is necessary right now. Even the wealthy want the bailout. See, they know that if we get a bailout, they're thinking in their minds, they'll squeeze it out of us. But I think this time, chess would be played completely different. I don't think people would run to spend that money as quickly as they did during the pandemic. When the average people have money, they spend it, and I understand that. And that is stimulative to the economy. Again, the wealthy don't get wealthy off the wealthy. They get wealthy off the have-nots. But the average person needs a bailout and wage increases so that the middle class and the working class can have and produce more opportunities for itself. So consider how the velocity of money is higher in the working class than it is the rich. The top 1% store wealth and assets. The working class spend it on food, services, rent, etc. And this is what drives GDP and job creation. These companies don't survive without bodies, them getting bailed out, and not us. Us being the blame and not them. And so again, this isn't about left or right. It's about right and wrong. If we don't fix the wealth imbalance, the working economy will collapse. Not because people aren't working, but because the system stopped working for them. Please like, share, and subscribe. I want to thank each and every one of you for continually checking out these videos and engaging. Always appreciated. As I say, ladies and gentlemen, until next time.